So Dalyss, tell me, what is the DC Classic?
DC Classic is a time for a lot of friends and family to get together and celebrate a good friend of mine by the name of Justin Haugland, and also celebrate the game of basketball and get together as a community and kind of just see the people that you haven't really seen in a long time and you don't get the chance to see, so you have an excuse to come home and be around the game we love and celebrate a person we loved.
The DC Classic is important, it's memorable, fun, really great for the community, great for just camaraderie with all your friends and teams, and it's really, I think, good for young players to come and watch and see what basketball can do after school and just how, like, it's more than basketball, you know.
I would say the biggest thing is I have a new favorite weekend of the year. It's definitely this tournament weekend. I pretty much count down the days when it's over, counting down the days to the next one. So yeah, it's just great. You know, now we got my wife, kids. They come to the game and watch now too. I notice there's a lot more babies coming to the games now. You can tell that we're all getting older when you start seeing more little ones show up at the gym. But no, it's just great. And then all the scholarships that have been handed out these last few years, or the last 9 years, however many years it's been now, that's been pretty incredible.
Oh, this tournament is huge for this small town. I mean, we've had people come from Arizona, California, Utah, Iowa. I mean, I believe we had 16 teams one year.
I mean, it just makes you really appreciate basketball and being able to play with your friends at our age still, and knowing these guys, and just through all the years making these relationships.
Living in Crosby, North Dakota is, I don't even know how to describe it, I guess. It's just your regular small town North Dakota. I mean, it's, everyone is friendly here. I mean, it's great. I've been here my whole life.
One of the best things about living in a small town is actually like knowing your community and your neighbors. And that's the biggest part, I feel like, difference-wise.
For me, growing up in Crosby was, I mean, it's all I've known is small town life and living, and I think it's awesome to grow up in a school that's small because you get a lot more like care, more one-on-one time. Education is good and important, and I love it. I love the small town atmosphere. I love that everybody cares about everybody, small community, even if sometimes it's like everybody knows everything about you. That's annoying, but it has more good and pros than cons.
Oh, everybody pretty much knows everybody, and they're pretty happy to see everybody. Even when you're driving down the street, everyone waves to you, because we pretty much know who everybody is. We recognize our vehicles, and if we're not in our vehicles, we're walking, and the community's really polite. Really a tight-knit community, very pleasant, very respectful. And we enjoy that camaraderie of knowing who we are and knowing who our neighbors are.
I don't know what the nature of it that, you know, would cause the whole town to come together, but I mean, that's every event in this town. It's such a tight-knit community. Everybody comes out and supports whatever benefit or, you know, donation things going on. So Crosby's really good about that.
Nobody bothers nobody, but yet everybody's more than willing to help if you have a problem or if anyone has a problem.
I mean, I get where some people are like, it's not that great. I don't understand why small towns are good, but it's good in the sense where the community becomes like this really tight-knit group. And whenever somebody in the community does great things, it's celebrated. And whenever something bad happens in the community, you get backed.
It's such a great community as to how we do come together. And yes, it is a small place, but there's so many people here that know so much and, you know, that are so useful and diverse. To have that is really nice.
It's a quiet, knit community, and it's nice to know that there's, how can I say it, there's no riffraff here. You know, people stick together. If there's a problem, people still stick together.
Well, I mean, it's just that, like, you can rely on your neighbors. Like, you know who can do what, and you know, I mean, all you got to do is ask most of the time, and people are willing to, you know, drop what they're doing even sometimes. And, oh wait, you need this? Here, yeah, I'll be right there, man. And, you know, somebody's car breaks down, and you got 10 people that you can call that, you know, at least one of them's probably going to be able to come give you a hand.
Justin was a senior in high school, loved basketball, loved the community, and his parents were so supportive of everybody.
Justin was a very unique individual. Justin had a quirky personality.
Justin was probably the best student athlete. If God created a student athlete and wanted like a happy medium of a great like basketball player and a great person in the gym, it was probably Justin.
I met Justin Haugland, I believe it was in Sunday school. Our families went to the same Lutheran church here. And we ended up being in the same class, same grade. So it just kind of started there. You know, Tanner Simonson was also with us in that. And you know, we were kind of best friends just from Sunday school. And then you know, in kindergarten, we meet up at Dalyss, and Justin, he lived close to Dalyss, so they were tight before that too. But yeah, the wolf pack really started at an early age.
The first time I met Justin that I remember, I mean, his mom and my mom were good friends, and we were neighbors. Our farms were right, probably a mile away from each other. So we knew each other. Justin had a shop, so he could play basketball anytime, especially in the winter. And I remember growing up as a kid, going out there a lot, playing basketball. And then when we were in 4th grade, my dad was going to this thing called old man basketball. And it's when all the older guys who weren't kind of done playing, they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s. They play Monday, Wednesday, Friday every morning at 6 a.m. So my dad took me and Justin to it, and Trevor Tomte as well. And that's when we became, I was like, Justin and I and Trevor are going to be good basketball players, and we're gonna have a chance to do something special with the game. And it was crazy for me. So growing up, we were always playing basketball. He was good, and he actually, I used to shoot the ball with 2 hands like this, and he was one of the first guys that I remember. It's like in the back of my brain as a 5th grader. He was like, "Dude, you got to quit shooting 2-handed. You got to start. This is a guide hand. This is your shooting hand. You got to start going like this." So. You know, I gotta say, he was the first guy that taught me how to shoot.
Growing up with Justin, he was a very big competitor, and he loved sports. He was always a diehard with sports. I mean, every time going to school, getting on the bus, he'd be there sitting right next to Dalyss, and I'd be written right in front of Dalyss. That was every day. And I mean, they would always trade like miniature football helmets you get out of like a quarter machine or something like that. I mean, there was 50 of those things, and we would always trade before and after school. And I mean, growing up with him, he was always had something to do with sports.
He was a jokester, a prankster, but he liked to be behind the scenes. He had a teammate in Dalyss and Trevor, 2 teammates, in those 2 that were definitely pranksters. And between the 3 of them, you kind of had to watch which direction they were coming at you from, and if it was 2 against 1 or 3 against you or whatever it was. But
Justin was a big kid. He was really built, and we'd be playing football, and he probably doubled my weight at the time. I was always really scrawny, and trying to tackle him in football, I just knew I was going to be limping out of recess that day. He was just a big kid.
He was kind of a little pork chop when he was younger. And then he went through puberty and he became this young man. And
I would know Justin through competition, so probably elementary basketball was probably the first time I met Justin and played against him. And you could just tell right away that he was just a fierce competitor, and I'm kind of the same way, so.
But he always loved competing. I mean, at an early age, any sport, you were gonna get his full effort.
Yeah, it was an August day, senior year of high school, and normal day. Like I just said, he didn't play any sport but basketball. I played football, so I was getting ready for football practice and walking through the gym, and then all of a sudden I seen our principal run into the gym. And
my wife was a school teacher up here in Crosby. She called me at work and said, "You need to get to Crosby Hospital right away." And I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "Justin collapsed at the school and it's not good, doesn't look good." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Just get to the hospital."
And knew it wasn't good because I knew he was the only one in there. And so, yeah, next thing you know, he's being hauled out to the ambulance, and that was tough. And I remember trying to get ready for football practice, but just deep down in my soul, when you know a person for 18 years and something happens to him, you kind of figure that you kind of want to be with him. So I drove up to the hospital, and
right when he got taken up to the emergency room, we all just kind of slowly, everyone started showing up in the waiting room up there, and we were all just kind of right away. We didn't really know what exactly was going on. Everyone was pretty relaxed. And then it kept kind of being longer and longer, and we hadn't really heard any news, and we assumed it was really bad.
I remember walking into the waiting room, and I saw Trevor, all my classmates, Morgan Renner, Tiffany Michelson, all sitting there, and they were crying. And that was the first time in my young adult life that I saw people my same age really hurt.
So I flew to the hospital, and as I pull in the parking lot, his mom and dad are out in the parking lot, and I got out of the vehicle. They both come over to me and said, "He's gone." And I said, "What?" And they said, "Justin is gone." And I said, "I can't believe that."
That was a tough day. And his uncle came out and told us what had happened, that Justin had passed away. And
when he passed away, everything seemed like it started turning the other way. I mean, it was a tough deal. And to do everything that you do every day, see him every day, and then have to go out the year without seeing it anymore, it broke a lot of people. It's not just me or the high school, the whole town. I mean, it felt like the world stopped for a whole day and just broke everyone.
And then I said to them, "I need to find the rest of the players." So they were at the hospital, and I met them there, and I said, "Let's go to the high school."
We all went up to the school. That's where we met, and so we weren't all in the hospital with our families and stuff. Plus, it kind of gave them a little more privacy to his family. But no, everyone was pretty much calling their parents to come up and meet him at the school. And my dad, unfortunately, was working out of town. He was like 20 miles out of town or something when I gave him the news, but
then my mom called me. I didn't even get a chance to say anything to her, and she goes, "You need to come to the barn right away." And one of our best horses was having a asthma attack, and then the horse died. I was like, what the? Best friend died, and then the best horse died, and then I had to tell my mom. And it was a tough day. And I didn't know, but can we take a quick break?
You know, he was taken away from us at that age when, you know, your bonds are so tight. You know, it was our 4th day of our senior year of high school. You know, we already had senioritis. We were just, you know, we were jacked. It was our last year there. And then all of a sudden just, you know, it happened. And it's really hard at that age, you know, when you're that tight with your, you know, the guys you see every single day. And yeah, it's tough. I really miss him. I think a lot, you know, where he would be these days, how, you know, how he would be doing. It breaks my heart to think about that, just because there's so many questions I'll always have and never know.
We all came over here. We met here. We hugged, we talked for hours. Nobody wanted to go anywhere, nobody could go anywhere. It was so traumatic at the time. I mean, it's gonna always be traumatic, but I mean.
It was hard. I remember after the news broke, I obviously had to go help my mom with this horse, and then I told her, and she was shocked. She was completely shocked, and I got a call from Trevor saying that I should come up to the school, because that's where the school told all the kids to come to, because now word was starting to spread. And I remember walking into the school and I saw the sophomore class crying, the junior class crying, and then all my fellow classmates, senior classmates, hysterical. And I was just so lost, and it was like it was like a bad dream. I mean, at that age, it almost just kind of puts you in shock. Like, you don't really know how to react, because that's like something that doesn't happen to just everybody.
I talked to each one individually. I hugged each one individually. One of the worst days of my life, obviously. But we, as a group of young men and coaches, we came together closer than any other team I've ever coached.
I remember all the parents of the seniors coming up to me, hugging me, and I was sat there for like 2 minutes. I sat there and I just left, and I walked outside of my pickup. I started my pickup, and I just remember thinking, I'm just gonna drive 100 miles down the road just so I can get away from everybody. And I'm so happy that my football coach at the time, Nate Nelson, he saw me come and he ran outside and he's like, "You're not driving anywhere. You're just gonna sit here with me." And I just remember I hugged him for like a good probably 10, 15 minutes, and you know, that guy, who knows what happened to me if I would have took off. But
we kind of just handled it like you could, the best you could. We had school the next day, so they had counselors there if any of us needed to talk, but none of us really even could think. I mean, it was kind of a pointless day to have school, but we showed up, we were together, we were able to, you know, have some laughs. We shared some memories of them, and I think that's what you got to do, you know, especially when kids lose a friend like that. Everyone just kind of gets together and you know, you reminisce and try to make the positive out of it the best you can.
It was surreal, and I just remember thinking to myself, you know, why Why the guy with the best future? Why take him? Why take the guy, the best athlete, the best student athlete? Why not just, why not take one of us? You know, it's hard, it sucks, but it is what it is. When we first started what was called the Justin Haugland Memorial Tournament back then, but the first year, yeah, it didn't go very good. We only had 3 refs. I didn't know what I was doing. I was only 19 at the time, and we had 3 refs for the whole tournament. And you know, after that, we decided we're never going to do that. We're going to have at least 6 refs and take turns on games. And then the second year, we did a little bit better, but it was still kind of a struggle, and I was trying to figure it out. And then the third year we had the tournament, we really hit our stride. It became something that was special, and then the third year we put on the spaghetti feed and came up with the sports memorabilia auction. So it really took off, and now we're already in year 9, so it's been a lot of fun.
Well, when Dalyss and Trevor first talked about doing this, obviously everybody was on board. We wanted to do something to honor Justin, and it was just really exciting to plan it, figure out what we were going to do, how we were going to go forward with it all. But the best part for me is now, however many years we are removed, 10 years, is everybody that comes back. The teams that come back, that play in it every year, and the people that used to be our rivals that we used to play against are now friends that we want to hang out with and see. And the Classic it's about more than basketball for sure now. Like, basketball is kind of just part of it. It's like what we have to do, but it's really about everybody coming home, seeing each other, having a good time. That's like hands down the best part about the Classic. I
was still struggling I can't remember if I was a freshman or sophomore, but I ended up getting a college scholarship to go play football at Dickinson State University. And I was still struggling. I was still struggling with everything that happened my senior year. It was still really bugging me. I remember wanting to play college basketball just for Justin, and that just wasn't the right move. And it was affecting me in more ways than one. And I remember I'm like, you just gotta get over this, man. You gotta get over this. You gotta figure this out. But the big thing to me was that I didn't want to let his name die. I felt like we got robbed. I felt like us as friends and groups, we got robbed. And I didn't want to let his name just be, you know, gone. Like, he didn't even exist. That wasn't cool to me. That's not what I wanted to happen. So I remember thinking, like, what could I do? What could I do? And I'm like, why don't we just get together and play some pickup games? And, you know, just like have a big open gym. Then we can all go out to eat afterwards and hang out. And then I kept going a little bit more, driving, and I was almost at Dickinson. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to, because I remember in my brain that I had to apply for a few scholarships that night. So I'm like, I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to have the scholarships and the money that we raise be in Justin's name, because that'd be a cool way, because then kids would realize, okay, Justin, who's Justin Haugland? And then kids would ask me, and then I get the privilege to tell them. I remember calling Trevor Tomte and asking him, hey, what do you think about this idea? And Trevor's like, we gotta do it.
So I remember the first couple years of the tournament, we had, you know, the talent level wasn't near what it is now. I mean, now we have some pretty good quality teams that show up and play. Obviously, you've seen like the Bakken multi team, they win it almost every year, but they're extremely talented and they play very well together. So it's fun to see basketball like that, good basketball in our small town here. But no, things definitely changed. The one main thing though is definitely the level of talent that we got showing up here now.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes you really appreciate basketball and being able to play with your friends at our age still, and knowing these guys, and just through all the years making these relationships, and in Justin's memory and Justin's honor. And I feel like he would really appreciate that, just because, I mean, I know what kind of competitor he was, and I know how much the game meant to him.
I think it's great for our community, and it brings so much, and it brings back all the memories that we used to have, and all the great times that were just there. I mean,
The first night always seems to go a little harder than we want. You know, we have all these good intentions to just take it easy, and because we have to be at the gym at 7 and get everything ready, but everybody just gets so excited and we have a little too much fun, and everybody coming to town, it's just inevitable. We're not gonna behave.
Yeah, the bar scene is usually pretty crazy that weekend. I know the managers do a great job of making sure they got enough workers on. Joey's and the Moose both get a lot of business from this weekend. It just seems to be the normal hangout spot on Friday night after everyone plays, and then Saturday we have everything at the Moose. And
oh, well, bartending on the auction nights and any kind of event is kind of really what I look forward to. Just because you're in that fast-paced environment, and it's just a little bit different.
Doc, I met a few years ago, and he's one of the coolest guys that's not from Crosby.
With my spirit being I love dancing, I kind of reflect that spirit onto the other people within the community that's here at the bar, and they feel my spirit, and then eventually that spirit runs through them, and then they start dancing, and before you know it, the whole bar's dancing.
He's one of those guys that when he walks in a room, he's like a beaming power of energy, and he always wears a suit, and he always dances, and he always has a great time. And you know, even if you're not from Crosby, you want to go shake that guy's hand because he's surreal, dude. He's like a walking cartoon. I love him.
Joey's is a tight-knit bar as far as people that come here. All the people that come to Joey's enjoy the festivities of the music that's playing, as well as the pool games that are playing or the dart games. And then when the music gets involved and the people feel good about the music that's playing, arouses their spirit to want to move around a little bit other than just standing still.
Chris Tissy is a kind of a weird hero of mine. He's somebody I look up to because he has the best, what I think is the best bar in town, and that's Joey's. It's a fun sports bar. It's a place where we all go to gather. He kind of brings the community together, and he's also my neighbor. And we have a lot of fun. He's a big Packers fan, I'm a big Chiefs fan, so we both have flags right in the front of our yard of Chiefs and Packers, and we like to give each other a lot of crap. But he's a really good guy, and he's a guy that helps the community out a lot by having one of the better businesses here, and I just love me some Chris Tissy.
The more or less, they're not really mad at you. They're just, as long as you keep it both ways, they're happy about it. But going to the bar, after that, we're all free game, man. It's who wants a shot.
I definitely am trying not to be too hungover for tomorrow because, I mean, that first game Sunday morning, I mean, we're talking like, you come in and the gym smells like alcohol pretty much.
Always have to be one of the first ones here every day, but Sunday morning is rough. I mean, I think every single year I beat Dalyss. I don't have a key to the gym, but I still have to figure out how to get into the gym so the teams can make it. But it is more comical than anything watching these hungover men try to play basketball.
Ah, shit. Damn it. I was hoping you guys weren't going to see it. I picked it up to pass to you and you were looking away. I'm like, shit.
I looked at
Ball. That was terrific, D. Look out, look out. Pete. Thanks, buddy. Have some mercy on us. Down 24.
They don't even fake it, and it's just bad. I can smell the booze, and You just hope nobody gets hurt because it's not very quality basketball.
Really picking us up full court for. God damn. It's on fire. We'll grow a foot next year and beat their ass. Who's here? Who's here? Who's here? I'll take it. I'll take it. Marv, stay there. God damn it. There we go.
Day two is always a grind. A lot of basketball games today. All the teams are here. We've had some teams already eliminated, so I think we're doing 10 games today. So as a ref, we're kind of hitting that moment where we're ready for it to be over and ready to move on to championship Sunday. But so far, so good. I mean, it's been a fun tournament. It's been a really good turnout. There's been a lot of fans here, which has been exciting. Some really good plays. We had 3 really close games already. So far, so good. So I mean, it's turned out to be the tournament that we hope it would be.
Yeah, so you have to be 18 and then out of high school sports for the tournament. This was my first year competing in it. I played in my last high school basketball game about 3 weeks before, and it was a big change physicality-wise. The reffing, they let us play for sure. You get manhandled whenever you're in the paint.
You know, when we first started coming here, one of the first people I called was Matt Cavernum. Matt Cavernum's team has won it 7 out of the 9 years. They always put together a competitive team, and when Matt first came, he was single.
Well, I'm from Williston, born and raised in Willis, North Dakota. It's about an hour drive from Crosby. I played basketball at Trinity Christian High School, which is a Class B school and a private school. So we play all these towns like Crosby and Tioga.
Now, Matt is bringing his daughter, who is, I believe, 1, and his wife. And Matt and I's relationship, and also the relationship with all these guys who come and play, has really flourished. Yeah, I mean, the refs, fortunately for me, they always look forward to this weekend. It's getting to the point now that we're getting older and they're bringing their families with, and it's really cool, and hopefully one day they'll be able to bring their kids with and stuff. But it's funny, we all started this tournament as I was a freshman in college. Scooby was I think he was just a senior in high school, and we've come a long way. The first year reffing was, I mean, it was a 19-year-old kid, and I'm reffing guys who are 29, 30 years old. It did not go well, and caught a lot of slack. But I was having so much fun doing it, and having so much fun watching these guys that I grew up playing with, and now they're playing in a tournament that me and my friends run. So that helped out things, but it was rough. It was rough, man. It was one of those things where it's like, man, did I make the right choice?
I ref now too, so I've gotten to know some of the younger. Recently, I've gotten to know more of the younger guys that are coming up too. So I kind of know everybody, and everybody kind of knows me at this point.
I was here reffing. It's actually kind of funny because our first year we had about 12 or 13 teams, and Dalyss, he told me to come up, and he's like, if you want to be put on a team, I'll put you on a team. And I mean, even the first year Dalyss was playing, and which the lopside about that is that Dalyss, they played on a team, and the other teams thought like he was putting himself in the better bracket system. So then Dalyss was just like kind of fed up with it. He says, I'm not playing anymore, I'll just ref. And then the team he put me on, we lost out right away. And so I had nothing better to do, and we still had almost 2 full days of this to go, and my team was already out. So he came up to me, he's like, well, do you want to try reffing? Like, you can ref a couple of games and see how you do and go from there. I mean, if you like it, that'd be great, because we need the refs. And it kind of just clicked.
I can't be offended. You gotta have a good backbone to this. And when you're reffing games, you can't get emotional, you can't get too invested in the both sides. It's more like keeping control of the game. And the fans can get riled up. I mean, they're always, they're booing me, they're telling me bad call, Sage. But I keep a straight face, keep it professional, and we keep moving to make sure we have a high quality tournament.
I remember at the second year I was asking Trevor what we could do to make this, because I wanted to be the best of the state. And I know we're not there yet, but eventually I want to get there. And I was brainstorming with Trevor and a few other people, and they're like, we need to get together and raise more money and do something that everybody can be a part of, not just basketball players. And that's when we came up with the idea of this spaghetti feed at the Crosby Moose Lodge on Saturday night. And that's when we decided, when I met this guy, Kevin, and he told me about his sports memorabilia store that he has. And the first one he had was Larry Fitzgerald, and that was my third year. And then he's like, Fitz is gonna be there. I ended up having a few beers with this guy at a bar in Scottsdale and talked to him. And of course, I talked about the tournament. I was just freshly, it was 22, 23. And he's like, that sounds awesome. He's like, I tell you what, you get a helmet and you just come by and we'll have Larry sign it. And I'm like, okay. And so one of our first premier items was a signed Larry Fitzgerald helmet, and I got to meet Larry, and that was a pretty special moment. And that's when I figured it out. I'm like, okay, if I can continue on getting these great athletes to support the Classic, that's going to be big in this moving forward, because people will come not only for the basketball, but they'll come for the community of the spaghetti feed, and also to look at what memorabilia items we have available, which is becoming a thing now after our 9th year here.
The auction is one of my favorite moments of the tournament. It gets to be pretty funny times. Just everyone bidding and all for a good cause too. I mean, not normally is a person gonna want to buy a tie blanket for $400, but that's just how generous everyone in the community is, and everyone that shows up and plays. It's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, the auction night is, I think, by far the most fun part of the tournament. That's the night that people, if they are gonna stay in town, the players, that's the night they're gonna stay. And it started out, we just needed to raise money for the tournament and for the scholarships, and we didn't know what we were going to auction off. And obviously the small town community is going to support you, but it really blew up. I mean, Dalyss always gets a lot of really great items, signed autographs and stuff that I don't even know how he gets that stuff.
For that auction, Dalyss, I don't know how he does it, but he gets to meet certain people, and he gets autographed jerseys from Urlacher to all of these people. Well, there's huge fans of those teams up here. Now, as far as the blankets, Deb, his mother, makes those blankets for all the team's colors, basically. And so they're all handmade. And they go for at least that kind of money.
But everybody here loves it, and he tailors it to the teams that people here like. So then you get bidding wars, and it's really fun.
Drew Haugland, aka Seif, is one of the coolest people you ever meet.
75, 275, 250, 75, 250, 275, 275, 300, 325, 325, 50.
He's our auctioneer every year for the Classic. He was Justin's cousin, and he's a spectacular guy. He's one of those guys that doesn't want any recognition, doesn't want anything to do with being, applauded or anything, but he does fantastic work, and the Classic wouldn't be around without him or his brother Grant Haugland. They do fantastic work.
Well, as far as the spaghetti feed itself, when Dalyss called me, I said, yes, we'll give it a try the first year. The first year I did it, I had 13 people call me that wanted to help. Whether they wanted to be in the kitchen or help on the serving line or just be here to be involved. That's what Crosby is so neat about. So many people came together. You know, as far as my involvement, I'm really good at ordering things, make sure everything's here and enough people and things like that. Because I've known vendors and things like that from working here at the Moose in the past. So I would like to give a shout out to Zach that also donates a lot of goods from the food service trucks. So when we're making our spaghetti, we go through a minimum of 60 pounds of burger, 20 pounds of sausage, and a case of pasta sauce. So basically we make 3 roasters full. And then we go through at least 40 pounds of spaghetti itself. And that's a normal time. We do at least 200 pieces of garlic bread and then a full salad bar, which the ladies help serve and everything. And then, thank goodness, the kids stepped up the last few years from Divide County High School, and they come in and do all the serving.
The Moose was kind of struggling, and we knew we wanted to kind of circulate some money with them too. And the first thing we thought about when we do this spaghetti feed for the DC Classic, we're having it at the Moose because we want the Moose to become successful. And I was just told last night by the manager that they made as much as they make Saturday than they make in 2 weeks. So that was pretty cool to hear.
The Moose Lodge is one of the last permanent, establishments. The Legion had to close, stuff like that. This is you have to be supposedly a Moose member, but we invite everybody to come. And it's gotten to be the sports bar. There's a sports event and people come to the Moose.
Like I said, my name is Ryan Hudek. I'm here at the Crosby Moose Lodge. I've been managing for about 8 months. It's my first job as a manager. I've been in the bar industry for about 7 years now. I had a lot of new faces, and that's why I like the events, is because it kind of gives me a little bit of a challenge. And like I had some guys that they had a list on their phone with their drink orders, which I think is awesome. But the second guy came up looking at his phone, and I'm like, dude, you need a Crown Peach Sprite, you need 2 vodka sodas, you need a Tito's Red Bull, and 2 Captain with Dr. Peppers. Like, that was the order. And it's just like, bam, I can remember that. And so like just to have that kind of, that crowd come in and be just popping behind the bar is great. That was big, and we pack it, and yeah, a big shout out. Everybody from the community comes and helps out, which is surreal. Sean Hunter and his crew, Grant Haugland, Drew Haugland, Josh Bummer, all these guys, all the players that I coach come and help out. They scoop spaghetti for people. They help clean up plates. So we eat spaghetti, and then we do the auction, which starts at 7 in sports memorabilia auction, and then we do the 3-point cut after that. And then after that, we usually have live music to kind of wind everything up for the evening.
Here I go.
My favorite part of the weekend is definitely the 3-point Calcutta. That auction is legendary, from the auction person who's literally the most authentic. If you could think of an auction guy, he's the guy. You know, I can't even talk that fast. I'm not even gonna attempt to. And the energy you get from the auction, just to start off with, how friends are trying to buy friends and parents are trying to buy their kids and other parents are trying to buy their friends' kids, and those prices, they rise up, and it's so much fun. And then when you get to the actual 3-point Calcutta, the energy in the gym, it's so intense. Even for me, my legs are done and I'm still trying to go out there and shoot those threes, and I'm the most nervous as can be. And it is so much fun and it's exhilarating, and I look forward to this every single year.
But my favorite part of auction night is the 3-point Calcutta auctioning, because you kind of have a little say in that, and that is the advantage of being at every single game and taking stats and knowing who are good shooters and knowing who has good form and if they can shoot quick. And so that's one of the advantages of having to be at every single game, is I know who I'm going to buy in the 3-point Calcutta. And usually I go in with Janae and my dad and we split them, and we've won a few years, but sometimes you don't.
And then the 3-point Calcutta, that's pretty fun too, auctioning off all the shooters. I usually go for way much more, and I do my donating to that pot, but maybe one of these years.
The performance on it, I thought was great. We had actually a decent amount of people here watching that. And do I do that every year? Absolutely not. My legs by the end of that day are gone and I can barely get the ball to the rim. But my girlfriend's father is the one that signed me up, and I only found out while we were auctioning off the Calcutta people. Yes, so I didn't even know until my name got called up. And he just tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, yeah, I put your name on that board, so I hope you can shoot pretty good, because, and I told him I haven't shot a basketball in a year, since last year.
The auction, I thought, was a very, very humble and good cause, and everyone had a good time. We had a nice singer there. The auction went really, really well. It was packed. The community came together. It was packed. So that shows you the sensitivity of the community sticking together when there is a sadness or a happiness, vice versa.
There he is, the star of the weekend. What's going on, buddy? What's going on?
Dalyss, I knew as a kid. And he was one of those that had the smirk in his eye. You knew that, oh, this kid could be trouble. But he could also be a lot of fun.
Dalyss is, he's a one-of-a-kind guy. He's probably the funniest guy I know, one of the nicest guys I know. He's selfless too. He always helping everybody out, and this tournament is 100% shows kind of how Dalyss is as a human, you know, putting together something like this.
I think what Dally has been doing for the last 10 years is something that is very unique and is very heart-filling for a lot of people, and a lot of people that knew Justin.
That's because of Hanson. He just did it. And it's like the thrashing bee. It's on the calendar. It's the 3rd weekend of July. This is now. It just happens. So yeah, it's on the calendar. It's part of us.
Dalyss is highly spirited, highly emotional, very highly emotional, very highly spirited. And what I love about Dalyss is he makes people laugh.
So I was born in Palm Springs, California. I live in La Quinta, California, and I was brought out here from Dalyss Hanson, meeting him in Scottsdale, Arizona. Had to go grill some hot dogs in my pool one random day after I got from work, and this guy was like, "Do you want a beer?" And I was like, "Of course." And in the first conversation I ever had with Dalyss, he brought up the tournament, and he asked me what I did, and I was like, "I coach basketball." And I was like, "Oh, that's amazing. I'd love to come out there." And he was like, "Can you ref?" I was like, "Of course. I'm a coach. I can ref. I hope I can ref. Come tell all my kids how the game is." So we ended up having that connection. I came out my first year, and it was one of the most amazing experiences. And I was like, I would love to come here every year, and it's been that way ever since.
Dalyss is one of the best guys that I know. He's been able to, move around and just connect with people so well. And he's just such a kind-hearted and uplifting human being. Like, he supports his friends. He's super chill, down to earth, I met him in high school. I was a senior here.
Well, Dalyss and I have been friends for a long time. He's 3 years younger than me, and we've worked together on putting this tournament on for many, many years, and it's always fun because he has a lot of really good ideas, gets a lot of good insight from people from out of town, out of state. Whatever he wants to do with the tournament, he somehow makes it work. Nobody else would be able to do it. Like, Dalyss's personality is just perfect for it. He's so outgoing, and people just don't say no to him somehow. He just has this way with people that you just do what he wants you to do, and I don't think anybody else could put it on besides him.
I know that one of his best friends was Justin, and it's not that easy for him to always take that over and run with it, but he's gone way above and beyond. The only thing I can say one way is he doesn't really like to work hard. And Dalyss, you know that. You like to travel and have fun, and
it means a lot to me. I'm just thinking about my mom. She's the first person I thought about because she's had my back through it all. So it's awesome that the community has my back. I appreciate that, but my mom and my dad were the first people that were like, "You can do this. Who cares? You're 19, 20. Who cares? You can do it." And I'm sure they were thinking in the deep back of their minds like, "Oh, I don't know if he can, but we'll at least have his back." But you ask me that, I'm thinking about my mom. I understand where they're coming from, and they see that I'm at the face of it. But what they don't see is everybody. It's a community thing. The community makes the community great. It's a well-oiled run machine now, and it brings me great joy to hear people say that. But the people in the community that say that about me have to realize that they shape me. They made me who I am. They made me want to come back. They made me want to make Crosby better. They made me want to become the next best thing. They made me want to become the next great generation. And so, when people say that, that's awesome, that's all great, but it's about action. Words are spoken pretty easy, but it's what have you done? What can you do? What actions, what have you put forward to make sure that what they're saying becomes true? So.
Okay, when Justin was a sophomore, this is the second year that I had coached him, we're in practice, and I'm a disciplinarian, and I like things to go according to plan because you only have the gym for a short time. So anyway, Justin doesn't cross the half-court line, which this is. There's the three-point line, and he lets a shot go from here. And I stop practice, and I say, "Justin, what the hell was that?" And he says to me, "Don't you know what a heat check is, coach?" I said, "Justin, you're on the other side of the half-court line. That's not a heat check. That's stupidity." So then we get into the Trinity Christian game the next year as a junior, and he hits a shot from right here to win the game by 1. We needed 3-pointer to win the game by 1. And he nails it. And after the game, he comes up to me and he gives me a big hug and he says, "Heat check again, coach." I said, "Bingo, I guess you can quit heat check and you got her down." And that's my story between winning the game against Trinity Christian and where we started with the heat check on the other side of the half-court line.
Retiring Justin's number was our senior night of our senior year basketball. We were an okay team. We kind of struggled without him because he was our senior leader. He scored the most points, so we were struggling without him. But we retired it, and just really thankful for everyone. I'm thankful for all the players. I'm thankful for all the community members. I'm thankful for my parents. I'm thankful for Tantillo Productions to come out and shoot this. I'm thankful for everyone who came from, whether it was California, Arizona, Montana, Minnesota, from our home state of North Dakota, even Canada. I'm just really thankful, and I just want everybody to know that I appreciate you, and as long as I can walk and run and be here, I'm gonna continue to do the Classic.
He just loved the game of basketball so much that he was putting in the time and did what he had to do to get to where he was.
I mean, I do it because he was just like any other best friend of mine. I mean, growing up together, he's just a guy you wanted to see every day. And the day it happened, it blew everybody away.
Honestly, I think the most fitting thing, if just 3 words, would be my best friends. Obviously, the tournament started in Justin's name, and then I got Dalyss there and our other buddy Tanner. They're my best friends, and I've been doing this since day one, and I'd say that's the best 3 words I could summarize this weekend. It's my best friends. But I'm glad, you know, as much as I miss him, it's nice to have this tournament because it just kind of, especially this weekend, you really kind of get some memories going back and doing the thing that he loved, was playing basketball. So it's really special that we can honor him in this way, and yeah, I really miss him though.
Are you proud? Are you proud? And I miss you, and I know I speak for everybody in the city of Crosby that we miss you too. But are you proud?